Hi, I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. My channel is dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse get free and stay free. Now, I've been offline for a little bit, so I need to go back, and I want to thank our friend Willa very much for your continued support. I really appreciate the donation to our channel's PayPal account. Thank you, Willa. I think in many ways it's safe to say that I got off lucky. The gate to a path to healing was kind of kicked open for me by the fact that I actually saw the evil creature's mask fell off. Now, for those of you who have seen it, yeah, you can't unsee it, and it happens in a split second. But when Trevor's mask fell off, I knew that that thing had no place in my life. Whatever that creature was, I didn't want anything to do with it. And I mean quickly, in a blink of an eye, in the snap of a finger, I went from being very locked on and very determined to trying to save the relationship, trying to help him, trying to solve the puzzle of what was wrong with me. Why couldn't I just be a good partner? Because, I mean, clearly, he was disgusted by every aspect of me, so, you know, I'd come to believe the problem was me, and all of that stopped. It just stopped, and I became determined to get out of there. Whatever I'd seen, it wasn't for me. I didn't want nothing to do with it, and that feeling of desperation to fix it instantly became a feeling of desperation to get away from it. Recognizing that I had seen something that was simply not going to be acceptable for my life, did a couple of things. Now, it gave me a very clear understanding that I needed to go no contact, because once you're done, you're done. I knew I had seen the evil thing for the last time. It was never coming face to face with me again. So it really did make going no contact really easy for me, because once you're done, you're done. There was no need to leave an open line of communication, so it was very easy to go no contact and stay no contact, which is quite different compared to pre-mask falling off, because during those 5 years that I was with him, yes, I left many times. I think it's about 9, but I never left feeling like it was done. I left in misery, broken-hearted, longing for our relationship to be restored, longing for the opportunity to, just prove my worthiness, to try and fix him. So I wasn't done. And I think that's where the real difference is. And I think, though it is absolutely blood-chilling when the mask does fall off, for those of us that have actually seen that, I think it really cuts a soul tie. It really, helps us detach, because, clearly that day, whatever the hell I saw, that was not going to work for me. And, instead of feeling like I wanted to fix it, there was a real repulsion towards it, like, yuck, oh God, whatever it is, get it away from me. And that feeling never went away. So though once I left, I definitely, felt that life was unsafe, and I never felt that way before. People were unsafe. I had a heightened sense of paranoia. The anxiety did not subside. I was living in a heightened state of panic. For those of you who have seen my early videos, I mean, I was struggling to breathe in many cases. I was overcome with panic and anxiety, and I was really pushing myself to try and purge some of that stuff that was going on in me, because truly, I was suffering. Lingering thoughts of suicide, lingering thoughts of, a situation so hopeless, I didn't know how I was going to get beyond it. I had truly adopted a belief system that I was broken. Life as I knew it was over. I would never be able to restore my life. I would never restore my career. I would be living in isolation forever, because, I'd come to believe that, well, people and life beyond my front door was just dangerous. And though there was a lot of really negative programming going on in my head, I was able to fall back on a previous belief system that I had. And that belief system was, people are resilient, people are strong, people are courageous. I had been strong and brave and courageous, and I believed that people could overcome anything. Now, though that belief system was definitely, covered in this new belief system of much more negative thoughts that, I was never going to be able to restore my life. Somewhere under that pile of filth was, a very bright and hopeful belief system that I could overcome this. I've had the opportunity to talk to many of you, many thousands of you, and I have done videos before about my belief that we were targeted. Empaths, truth tellers, earth angels, way showers are specifically targeted by narcissists to diminish our light. And many of you recognized this empathy in yourself from early childhood. Many of you, me included, thought from our earliest memories that we had a purpose in life, that we were purposeful people, that we're going to do something with our lives. And many of you believe this to be true of yourselves, as I believe this to be true of me. So each and every one of us, though we may have forgotten this early foundation of hopefulness, this early knowledge that we are strong, we are courageous, we will overcome any challenges that life throws at us, is there. It's there in you. But when the blanket of misinformation, when, the lies and the deception that, are now shrouding our lives as a result of the gaslighting, starts to become the biggest part of our lives, it starts to become the biggest part of our focus, well, is it any wonder we forget about how hopeful life really is? We forget how brave, how strong, how determined we really are. We forget what we are truly capable of. And it is the fact that you survived narcissistic abuse that is all telling of this. This is the greatest piece of the puzzle to healing. You survived narcissistic abuse. I mean, how many people did not? How many people died at their own hands? I mean, suicide is a very real threat within our community. Many people commit suicide because they really forget this early bit of information that they have, and it's just so covered over with this new belief system that there's no recovering from this, that will ultimately kill us. But it's there. It's there in each and every one of us. That knowledge that we have already survived narcissistic abuse. Now we're free. Now we just need to put one step in front of the other, and we have to clear our minds of all this negative programming. Now, there are 3 phases to this, really negative programming that will trap a victim. And if you have become trapped, you can still reverse it, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. I think every victim of narcissistic abuse will self-program ideas like, my life is ruined, the world is a dangerous place, I am never going to be able to restore my career, my finances, I am never going to feel whole again, I am broken beyond repair. Now, we all know the impact that self-programming, that inner voice has on us. So is it any wonder healing is long, riddled with misery and painstaking, desperate attempts to just feel okay? I mean, I believe in many cases we set ourselves up for this long, drawn-out recovery. Now, when we are doing this thing to ourselves, we're now gaslighting ourselves into believing there's going to be no recovery. I mean, you let that run on for a week and evidence will show that will create in you a mood of stress, anxiety, like you're living on eggshells, a mood of depression, just a bad negative mood. But you let that run on for months, this becomes a temperament, this becomes part of your personality, this becomes, your disposition. You let this continue to run on. You continue to buy into this inner voice that you are never going to be okay again. Well, this now becomes a personality trait. This now is starting to define you. I, for one, simply refuse to be defined by abuse. Now, because of my family's connection to Mexico, we got a little joke here in my house. And, when one of my kids will say, "Oh, I can't do it," we will say, "Are you a Mexican or are you a Mexicant?" And truly, at my core, I am a Mexican. I can overcome obstacles. I survived narcissistic abuse. I can live out my dreams. I can make good choices for myself and my family. I can develop healthy boundaries. I can change the inner voice. It is my inner voice after all. It is my head. And yes, I can control it. And I have the power to take a really negative narrative and flip that over and turn it into something positive. And that had to happen for me, because I did have that inner voice of doom and gloom. I had that inner voice of I'm never going to be okay again. And I had to change that too. I will not be defined by abuse. I am not the sum of what has happened to me. I have a life to live, and I can live it to its fullest. And every time that negativity came into my life, I had to turn that negativity into a positive inner voice. Absolutely come to realize that this creature was truly trying to destroy me, lead me to suicide. And for me, the ultimate revenge was the extreme polar opposite of that. To really succeed, to live my life to the fullest, to be the best me I can be. When you know there's some evil entity out there that is hell-bent to destroy you, the best revenge, the most validating thing that we can do for ourselves is soar above that. We really are at war with these creatures. They truly are enemies. So when an enemy is standing in front of you, absolutely determined to destroy you, the best battle strategy is going to be one of resistance. It's going to be one of defiance to their evil plan. It's going to be a mindset that says, no. I'm going to win this battle because I am going to take control of my life back. I am taking control of my inner voice. I'm taking control of the way I feel. And even if you find yourself trapped, as many people definitely will say they have been trapped in this for many years, this can be reversed. It doesn't matter how long you've been wallowing in the misery. It's never too late to change your inner voice. It's never too late to change the indoctrination. You have been indoctrined into a belief system that you cannot heal, and you have the power to change that. In addition to changing my inner voice, replacing a negative inner voice with a much more positive one, I had to consider my line of questioning. All victims of abuse are going to end up with a million questions. Why? Because they don't know what the hell's going on. And you want to know what's going on. Your life appears to be flipped upside down, and most people don't know how it got that way, and certainly questions will stem from that. But pre-Trevor's mask falling off, my question had always been, what in the world is wrong with him? And that day when his mask fell off, that question switched, and I really had to ask, what is wrong with me? Why am I so locked on and determined to be this man's victim? Every bit of evidence from the day I met him till the day I left showed me clearly and factually that he did not care about me. In fact, he appeared to hate me. He did not have my best interest at heart. In fact, he appeared to be actively trying to sabotage me. He lied to me. He cheated on me. He willingly tried to contract a venereal disease with the hope of spreading it to me. At some point, knowing these things, I had to ask myself, what the hell is wrong with me? Stopped asking myself, will he ever want me back? And started asking myself, who the hell would go back to him? What would have to be wrong with me, to allow myself to continue to be abused this way, to continue feeling so horrible? Honestly, I just wanted to get out of my own skin. It had become unbearably painful living in my own skin. At some point, you got to ask yourself, what the heck are you doing? Flipping the script is really important to healing. Changing that negative inner voice to a positive inner voice is going to really help to pave a path to healing. In addition to that, flipping the questions, flipping the focus from the narcissist to you. Because in all of this, you are the only person that matters. The narcissist is irrelevant. You're saying to yourself that you can't heal. Stop it, because the outcome of that sort of inner voice will be that you will not heal. If you continue to stay narc focused, the narc will continue to be the beacon in your life. When you take control of your life and you change your inner voice to one that is much more positive, much more hopeful, and will build a foundation of strength and courage for you to carry on, you're going to see a big shift in the way you're feeling. Another thing is when you take all the focus that's been on the narc and you turn that focus on yourself, whoa, game changer. This is not breaking news. This is not new information. This is something that we all know and we all understand. Yet, too often, people just keep looping this negative, horrible indoctrination of grief and misery. You have to actually put it into practice. It's kind of like no contact, right? I mean, people say to me sometimes, I'm no contact, but the narc keeps texting me. Well, hell, that's not no contact. I mean, no contact means no contact. Changing your inner voice means that you've become proactive, and when negative voice kicks in, you cut it off, you shut it down, and you flip it. That's what that is. When you stop focusing on the narcissist, when you stop asking what's wrong with him, will he ever want me back again? You know, how can I help him? When you take all of that and direct that at yourself and ask yourself, you know, what can you do today for you? How can you help you today? How can you make your life better? When you become the focus of your recovery, well, you're going to start to recover. Guys, I hope this video has been a help. I love you guys lots and have missed you, and I got a lot to talk to you about. So we will be getting back on the video path real quick here. Talk to you soon. I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV, and I hope you're having a great narc-free day.